Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll be doing a review on the Skanda Fight Gear Japanese style boxing gloves. So check it out. Hey guys, Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on the Skanda Fight Gear Japanese style boxing gloves. I got mine in the red colorway, 16 ounces and lace up. You can also get these in Velcro. Anywhere between 10 and 16 ounces, as well as 2 additional colorways in white or blue. The glove is made of full, genuine leather construction with layered foam padding with a softer consistency over the knuckle area, and the gloves are manufactured in Pakistan. Now, Skanda Fight Gear is a company that's been around for many years now that's based out of South Korea, that specializes in making combat boxing equipment. And the first time I saw these gloves, the first thing that really popped into my head when I saw them is it really reminded me of the Punch Equipment Forte gloves, or the Punch Equipment Forte Elites. There's 2 versions of those gloves that I did a review on years ago, and those were basically a winning clone from Punch Equipment, and these are essentially the same thing. That's why they call them Japanese style, is because they're essentially their version of a winning clone. And I was a really big fan of those Punch Equipment Forte Elite gloves. I feel that they probably use the same manufacturer for these Skanda Japanese gloves as they do the Punch Equipment gloves. So if you guys are wondering what these are like, if you do have a pair of those Punch Equipment Forte Elites, to me these are pretty much identical to those, both in terms of the type of leather they use, the liner, the foam padding, and just the ergonomics of the glove. It's pretty much the same glove. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if these gloves are manufactured in the same factory as the Punch Equipment gloves. So that's kind of a reference point for you guys that you guys can use if you have those gloves already. Now, aesthetically, when you look at this glove from a design standpoint, these are a 16-ounce glove. I feel like this is more of a slimmer profile, compact 16-ounce glove, which I personally prefer. I just hate big, bulky 16-ounce gloves, or just any gloves that are big and bulky that don't really need to be. And this is definitely much more of a sleeker glove when it comes to the size and profile for a 16-ounce glove. The red leather on here has more of a kind of, I guess you can say, a satin, almost like a semi-gloss finish. It has a very slick feel to the leather itself. You do have the oval Skanda Fight Gear logo in white and blue on the back of the glove, nothing too crazy there. And then you have a rubberized Skanda patch on the back of the wrist support. It says Skanda Fight Gear. It does have raised letters on here. The edges on here, it's not made out of plastic, but there is a little bit of a sharp edge to these. So if you're going to use this glove for sparring, I would definitely tape over this patch. I wish it was recessed into the back of the wrist support. That way it laid flush with the foam padding rather than sitting on top of the leather. That way you wouldn't have to worry about that. But you do have that patch on the back of the wrist support, excuse me. Padding wise, you're looking at about, like, I'd say 1.5 inches of 2 types of different foam padding on the back of the wrist. You have a much more dense, stiffer foam that gives you that support and that rigidity that you're looking for. But you also have a softer foam that lines up against your skin on the inside to give you that comfort factor. So you do have about 1.5 inches. A nice smooth tricot liner on the inside, does not bunch up. On the inside of the wrist, you're looking at about maybe 1/2 inch, again, of firm density foam. And you can see it's kind of a rectangular shape on both sides right there. Again, very similar to the Punch Equipment gloves in terms of that solid wrist support. Nice long flat white laces with plastic tips at the end, nothing too crazy there. Double stitching throughout, double stitching over the grip bar, white piping around the thumb. Again, it has a very winning-esque look to the glove. The only thing that you don't see here that winning has is they have the actual weight of the glove on the grip bar. But you have a nice sized grip bar, nice and dense. You also have a leather attached thumb at the tip of the thumb in a good position. And you can also tell that, just like the winning gloves, the grip bar has kind of an angular position to it rather than straight across horizontally. It has a little bit more of a angled position when it comes to that grip bar. Quality wise, these gloves are really good. For a Pakistan made glove, they're definitely one of the better manufactured gloves. You can tell, one thing that I notice about these is they almost copied even the winning style of stitching. Now when I say that, if you look at authentic winning gloves, the way they stitch their gloves is the stitch is actually a wider stitch pattern. A lot of Pakistan gloves, the stitch pattern is a little bit smaller, so you have more stitching going in and out, more needle or entry points. for the needle to go in and out, in and out, in and out. With winning gloves, it's a little bit wider, so you don't have as many entry points. So basically the stitches look wider, and it's kind of the same thing with these gloves as well. The stitching is done really nicely. The leather is held up really nicely. I mean, you can see where the index finger meets the thumb, looks really good. The balance of the glove is great. You can see I can literally hold just the back of the glove and there's no sagging. And that's because of that wrist support being really nice and rigid. And when I put these gloves on the scale, they're exactly at 16 ounces. So in terms of weight, I mean, these are precisely on 16 ounces, which is amazing. You can see the palm side, the stitching looks good there as well. The grip bar looks really done really nicely. You know, you have the ventilated holes right here. I feel like the ventilated holes on this are kind of an afterthought. It's not so much a quality issue as it is a design thing. I mean, they put them right here, but I'll be honest with you, that's not really going to do anything to be, you know, in terms of like ventilating the inside of the glove out. I mean, these two little holes right here, there's nothing else in this glove in terms of like ventilation. You put these, that's not going to do anything. And in my opinion, just close that off. I mean, if you're going to put these little two tiny holes randomly right there, there's no point. So whenever I see stuff like that, it just kind of makes me scratch my head, because it's like, if you're going to do it right and put more ventilated holes so you can get a little bit of breathability. But if you're going to put those two right there on the thumb, it's just kind of pointless. It's just something I figure I'd kind of point out with this glove. But other than that, I mean, the glove is done very nicely. Again, has a nice premium feel to it. So in terms of the quality, they definitely done a great job with this glove. Comfort wise, extremely comfortable glove, just like the punch equipment gloves. You put your hand in here and the thumb position is perfect. They give you a nice amount of piping for the fat part of your thumb, so you don't feel like your thumb is getting choked out. You don't feel like you're losing, you're cutting off the circulation to your thumb. Wrist support feels really good. Liner is extremely comfortable. Grip bar is in a good spot. You also have a piece of felt over the stitching, so you don't feel the stitching where this layer of leather connects to the actual finger compartment. So again, thumb feels good, nice and deep. Not too wide, not too narrow in terms of the width of the glove. A little bit more of a compact glove, but it, again, doesn't choke you out. And lastly, the thing I love the most about this glove is how broken it is. Broken in the glove feels right off the bat. When I first got this glove, I mean, it was pretty much, it felt like I had been using the glove already for like 6 months in terms of it being soft. And that was right when the gloves were brand new. And that has a lot to do with the type of foam they use, which is softer, which we'll discuss here in a second, but definitely a softer, broken in feeling glove. So if you're looking for that, this would definitely be a good choice for you. But overall, an extremely comfortable glove. You can make a really nice tight fist as well because of how soft that foam is. Protection and performance. This to me is kind of a unique glove in the fact that it almost reminds you of a puncher's glove because of how soft that foam is. I mean, you could push down on that knuckle area and you could really push into the foam. But the harder you push into it, it does compress nicely. It doesn't just push all the way through. There is a point to where if you push hard enough, you will compress that foam on the inside, which is probably a combination of polyurethane and maybe latex on the inside, a softer style foam. But you get excellent pop and feedback. This is an awesome glove for doing mitt work. You can use these for sparring as well. But mitt work is where these gloves really shine, and even heavy bag work. If you're using a really solid, rock solid heavy bag like the Nazo bag, you get really nice pop and feedback out of it. Do be wary of the fact that these gloves are not going to be the most shock absorbing gloves. You're looking something a little bit more denser and protective. These are decent at that, but I feel there's other gloves that do that better. But again, to me, me personally, I overlook that because I just love gloves that are a little bit more broken in and soft. If I ever need to supplement something for more shock absorption, because if I have like a sore knuckle or I just need something to where I don't feel the shot go right through my hand, then I'll use like a gel knuckle pad, something to supplement the glove, but still retain the performance of the glove itself. But when you're hitting the bag, you land on those two front knuckles, you're real confident, and you can really put power into your shots. And it feels amazing. I mean, I can feel the shots go through. And again, that softer foam padding, you will feel it. It compresses pretty nicely. But again, I would say that this glove is a little bit more on the puncher side if you're looking for a training glove that's more like that Mexican style, then this is definitely it. This is supposed to be like a Japanese inspired glove. So essentially their version of a winning. I feel that the winning gloves, the padding on the winnings are a little bit denser than these, a little bit more protective. So if I were to put these next to each other in terms of the winning MS series gloves, the padding on these to me are definitely softer than the winning. So if you're looking for, again, for another reference point, and you have a pair of winnings and you're like, dude, I want to get those because those are pretty much a winning knockoff at a much better price point, then do know that the padding on here is, in my opinion, softer than winning. So if you're okay with that, then by all means go for it. That brings me to my next point. Cost wise, these gloves, in my opinion, are a steal. They're $89. Of course, you have to pay shipping, but $89 for this glove, and they even give you Skanda Velcro lace converters, basically their version of a lace and loop included with that. So just depending on where you're at, I can't say what the shipping is for everyone because depending on where you're at, but let's just say on average your shipping is like 20 to 30 bucks. The gloves are 89, so 90. You're looking at like 120 to 130 for a glove like this, which I think is definitely fair. Quality solid. They're on point with weight. They look good. They have that nice, really conical, compact shape to them. They're not overly large. Great for mid work. You use them on the heavy bag. You use them for sparring. The only caveat, again, is the foam is a little bit on the softer side. So if you're okay with that, then I think this, to me, when I make my list, I know you guys have been waiting for it, but for gloves that are under $100, it's going to be pretty much up there when it comes to the ranking. And where that lands, I have to decide that and figure that out. But for $89, these gloves are definitely a steal. So again, if you guys have any questions or comments, you guys know what to do. Put them down below. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Skanda fight gear, Japanese style boxing gloves, and I will see you later.